talk a little bit about the use of ethical wills for people who are very ill, which is one of the populations I have worked with for a few decades now. People need to tell their story. Everybody needs to tell their story. And chaplains know this, and increasingly doctors and nurses and social workers, that sometimes people just need some time to tell their story and to state who they are and who they've been. So the process of putting together a Jewish ethical will can enable people to honestly speak some of their story. And that kind of empowerment of somebody who's ill is very important. There have been a couple times in my career where a Jewish ethical will was critical in helping somebody heal personally or interpersonally. Just to give a couple of examples, there was a elderly woman who had a daughter. This woman was in her 90s and her daughter was in her 60s, and they had been estranged for years. And in fact, the daughter passed away before they could heal their relationship, and they lived very far apart from each other. So in the group, the support group for bereaved parents who lost adult children, we encouraged her to write an ethical will to her daughter, who could no longer, on this earth at least, receive it. But she found it very healing to write what she would have said to her daughter had they been able to reconnect. Another man who described himself on the phone when he first called our center said, "I've been a bastard my whole life." So I asked him what he meant, and he described that in his profession he had reached the pinnacle of success and published all these books and debunked the theories of a major leader in the profession. But in doing so, he had abused colleagues and abused women and really anyone who was in his path. And he was diagnosed with brain cancer, and very serious brain cancer, and rapidly spreading. And he wanted to reconnect with his brother, who was in his late 50s, but had just had a few years ago his first child. And he had not gotten to know, this man with the brain cancer had not gotten to know his niece. So he connected with his brother and then started hanging out with the niece, and they became extremely close, almost like a grandfather to her. And with him we wrote a letter that she would get when she was older, in which he told her how much he loved her, but how he also spoke about how sorry he was that he didn't have more successful relationships and giving relationships that might have resulted in a first cousin for her. It was a very healing thing for him to write this letter and for his brother to receive it to give to his daughter in years to come. Finally, there was a man who was dying young in his 40s of a cancer and was estranged from his brother, and asked me to help him write a letter that he could not connect with his brother, contact him, but he wanted to get it to him, and we succeeded in doing so after he died.